Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Sue, your East Oakland advocate. Well, we just had a tsunami warning here in the Bay Area, and this was due to a big earthquake. I mean, a really large earthquake. 7.3 magnitude was the most current seismic reading, and it happened off the shore of Humboldt County here in California. And where that is, that would be 2 miles north, up in Eureka, not Yreka, which is up near the California-Oregon border, but Eureka. Eureka is just on the opposite side of Mendocino County, and that's where my ex-wife lives. So, she got a pretty good jolt up there. It first was reported as 7.0. Then it's been slowly creeping up. Now it's reached 7.3. But a lot of folks here were really freaked out when they got that tsunami warning. And in fact, I received phone calls from friends who got that tsunami warning and were asking me, should they run for cover? And I said, well, from where you are, I wouldn't be concerned. And if you actually lived on the coast of California, from Santa Cruz County all the way up through the Oregon border, yes, there would be some concern, especially if your home faced the Pacific Ocean, or the water, I should say. And that would be probably a good idea to not be in that line of fire in any case that you receive a tsunami warning here in California. And you say, well, what about inside the bay? It's still. I said, no. It's a whole different um, reality once you get off the coast, and you look at how large that the opening between Marin County and San Francisco County is. That's a little more than a mile wide, and up to 350 feet deep. How do I know? Because I actually ran my boat through there with my sounder, and at high tide, the highest tide, uh, the depth would be a little north of 350 feet at its deepest portion. That would be the center. As you get closer to the shoreline, it starts coming up, but it is a cavernous hole right there. And so that's a lot of water that can be coming in. But if you look at it, it's to a very small, limited area. So it's not like you're just going to get headlong rushed by water coming in from the ocean, because you have approximately over 2,000 feet of mountain range that protects the San Francisco Bay Area. And so the water would have to only come through the Golden Gate. Literally, that's the only place that it can come through, and then it would have to backfill. But then you would have to also remember that that small opening opens up to a huge mega area that spreads the water very thinly across a very large area. We're talking 1,100 square miles of shoreline, 1,100 miles of shoreline. And the bay has an average depth of only 20 feet, 20 to 22 feet, except for the shipping channels, which go to 50 feet. And so inside the bay, you are very safe from a tsunami. And back in 2011, there was a tsunami that was triggered in Japan, from Fukushima, Japan, when that earthquake destroyed a power plant there, and then sent a big tsunami. It took a week for that tsunami to travel underwater and reach the West Coast. And they predicted the time, the date, and everything. And I was out there back in 2011 at the dog park in Richmond, El Cerrito area, near the Costco out there. And I literally timed it, and they were pretty close. So I'm pretty safe. I'm pretty confident in the predictions that our NOAA and weather and geographical people, keep us informed. And so here in the Bay, like I said, that water coming in through the Golden Gate would have to disperse through a huge area. And so the likelihood of a large wave of water, we're talking maybe 100 foot of water coming in, that could be only a mile wide. But then once it clears the Golden Gate area and starts opening up into the expansive uh, waterways, which is the bay, that gets dissipated. All of that energy is highly dissipated. And back in 2011, yes, I did watch the water get sucked out. I watched the water literally disappear in 8 minutes from where it was just lapping the rocks there at the dog park. And then I saw nothing but mud for half a mile. It was about 8 minutes for it to completely disappear out of there. And even my dogs ran down there and said, "Wow, what's going on here?" and everything. And then I heard the roar coming back. But while the water was rushing back in, and it was rushing back in very quickly, that's why the roar, it did overwhelm my dogs. And my dogs weren't that far off from the rocks, and they got hit with the wave that came back in. And the wave wasn't very big. It was only a 2 foot wave. So it wasn't very big. And that tsunami, it cycled. It has a cycle to it where it goes back out a few minutes later, and you'll literally watch the water disappear, and then it'll come back, and you'll be able to see it coming back because you'll literally see the water coming. Um, but it's not like what you've seen in past media news reports of Indonesia, where it was a 10, 12 foot wall of water that overran the beach resort there. But then that beach resort was facing the ocean. That's why it happened. And so inside the bay, you're completely safe because it's kind of like a little limiting valve that only lets so much water in. No matter how much water's out there, it can't, unless there's a tsunami that creates a 2,500-foot wall of water, which is not likely. Uh, uh, and even then, it would just hit the tops of all the mountains that protect San Francisco, on the inside of the mountain range area. So anyway, folks, you're safe inside the bay. My brother, he was a specialist. He was a forestry doctorate, and that forestry, he taught me a lot about geology, geographics, mountain ranges, and a lot. And he was a had a doctorate in forestry, and he also worked for NASA and worked on the GPS satellite program. He was that he was that smart, and he was got around to the different agencies and worked with the different agencies. But here in the Bay, we are safe. It would have to be a very catastrophic and cataclysmic type of earthquake to cause a tsunami, which would cause a 2,500-foot wave. And that 2,500-foot wave is only created as the tsunami approaches the coastline. And so other than that, going through the ocean, coming across the ocean, it's not seen, it's not felt. Nothing changes because it's traveling under the water. And as it approaches the shoreline, the stiction of water and land, and the land mass slows that water down, and so that's what creates the big wave. But then how the big wave is created is because that tsunami is creating a suction under the water, and the big wave is on top, and so we have water literally making a circle. but the water going under is feeding this upper portion, which is the big wave coming in, and then that's how it gains height and volume because of the feed, the undertow feed that feeds the big main wave, because it has less resistance as the water, the tidal wave, the tsunami comes pushing towards shore. Uh, it slows the main body, the underwater pressure down, because it has to climb, and then it's also pushing up, and at the same time it's creating a suction which goes out back out to the ocean. So anyway, that's a little explanation of how tsunamis work, and why the Bay Area is safe. If you're down in SoCal, you got a problem, especially Venice Beach. But tsunami's not supposed to reach anywhere near that. Plus, the tsunami has been canceled about half hour ago. So the coast is clear and things are safe. But hopefully that gives you some safety information and some security and some knowledge that you may not have had before. Thanks for joining me today. We'll be right back.